Hey guys, what's going on? Today I'm checking out the Euhomy 37 quart portable cooler. I've been using this fridge for over a year now, and out of all the coolers I've tested, this is by far the one I've used the most. That's mainly because it hits the perfect balance between portability and performance. I've taken it pretty much everywhere: camping trips, hotel stays, long drives, anywhere I need to keep food or drinks cold. So in this video, I'm going to share my full experience using it, what I've learned over time, and everything you should know before deciding if this is the right cooler for you. So this cooler actually comes in a few different sizes, but the one I have here is the 37 quart version, which is about 35 liters. When you receive it, it comes with an instruction manual, a quick troubleshooting guide in case something ever goes wrong, and even a temperature chart that shows the recommended settings depending on what you're storing inside. When it comes to power, this cooler can run on either 12 or 24 volts. It comes with an AC adapter that lets you plug it into any regular household outlet, and that converter drops it down to 12 volts. You also get the DC cable with a standard car-style plug, so you can run it straight from your vehicle's 12-volt port while you're driving or camping. When it comes to the design, this cooler actually looks really nice. It has a clean, rugged style that feels solid and practical. It's mainly built from hard plastic, which keeps it durable but also lightweight. It weighs around 32 pounds, and once you load it up with food and drinks, you can expect it to be around 50 to 55 pounds depending on what you pack inside. To open it, there's a small latch right on the front that keeps the lid securely locked. Once you pop it open, you get full access to the main compartment. Inside, it's divided into two sections, but it actually functions as a single zone cooler, so both sides share the same temperature. The divisions are really just there for convenience. They make it easier to organize your food and drinks when you're loading everything in. But if you want to use the full space, you can easily remove the two racks and turn it into one large compartment. That way, you're getting the maximum storage capacity out of it. It also comes with a small cutting board right in the middle. I honestly haven't used it much yet, but it's a nice touch. It can be really handy if you forget to bring one or just need a quick surface to prep some food while you're camping or on the road. Now, looking inside, the interior is lined with a metallic foil finish, basically a thin layer of aluminum that helps reflect cold air and improve cooling efficiency. That said, I'm personally not a big fan of this type of finish. It works great, but it's also pretty easy to scratch or dent if you're not careful when loading cans or bottles. After using it for over a year, mine does show a few small signs of wear, but overall it has held up surprisingly well and still works perfectly. One of the main reasons I chose this cooler as my go-tos is its portability and how easy it is to take anywhere. It has two sturdy handles on each side, making it simple to lift when you need to. But what really makes a difference are the built-in wheels. That's a big deal for me. With a cooler this size, you definitely don't want to be carrying it around all the time. That is why I've been taking this cooler with me on camping trips and pretty much anywhere I go. It also has a pull handle, which makes it super convenient to move around. The only thing I'd point out is that, for me personally, I'm about 6'1", so the handle feels a little short. I wish it extended just a bit more. But overall, it's really well designed and easy to transport. Another thing I wanted to share with you is that the lid is reversible. You can actually remove it and flip it to open from either side. That's super handy when you have the cooler placed somewhere tight, like in the back of your car or next to a wall, and you only have access from one side. This way, you can still open it easily without having to move the whole thing around. So now let me give you a quick tutorial on how to use the cooler. On one side, you'll see a small control panel with buttons and a digital display that shows you all the important information. Right below that, there's the port where you plug in the power cable. So let me go ahead and connect it and show you how it works. Once it's plugged in, you'll see the power button on the right. That's what turns the cooler on. After you turn it on, the screen will display the current internal temperature, which right now is pretty warm since it hasn't started cooling yet. To adjust the temperature, you'll use the two touch buttons on the left. And one thing I like is that they're touch sensitive, so you don't have to press hard. Just tap or hold to go up or down. Right now, the temperature is shown in Fahrenheit, and it can cool all the way down to -4 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about -20 degrees Celsius. That's actually really impressive for a portable cooler. But if you want to go a little deeper, there are a few extra settings you can tweak to get the most out of it. For example, if you hold down the Set button on the right, you can adjust a few options directly. The first one is the battery protection level, which is super useful if you're powering the cooler from your car's battery. It basically prevents the cooler from draining your vehicle's battery completely. You can choose between three protection modes: H1, which turns the cooler off when the battery drops to 9.6 volts, H2, which shuts off at 10.2 volts, and H3, the high protection mode, which shuts off at 11.2 volts. If you press the Set button again, it lets you switch between Eco mode and Max mode. Eco mode is great when you want to save energy, especially if you're running it off your car battery or a power station for a long time. It cools a bit slower, but it's much more efficient. Max mode, on the other hand, gives you full power, and if you press the Set button a third time, it will toggle between Fahrenheit and Celsius, so you can choose whichever temperature scale you prefer. Most of the time, especially when I'm out camping, I run this cooler using a portable power station, for example, the Jackery Explorer 1000 V2. But there's something really important I want to mention here, because it's a mistake I see a lot of people make. When you're using a power station, try to avoid connecting the cooler through the AC outlet whenever possible. This cooler runs on direct current, something around 12 to 14 volts. The battery inside your power station also stores energy in DC. So, when you use the AC port, the power station first converts that DC energy into AC at 120 volts, and then the cooler's adapter has to convert it back to DC again. That means you're doing a double conversion, DC to AC, and then AC back to DC, and every conversion wastes energy. On top of that, whenever the AC inverter is turned on, most power stations will slowly discharge, even if you're not actively using them. So, if you want to get the longest possible runtime from your battery, the best option is to plug the cooler directly into the 12-volt DC port on your power station. That way, you're powering it more efficiently and avoiding unnecessary energy loss, which means you'll get the maximum runtime out of every charge. Now, when it comes to power consumption, this cooler will draw its maximum power at startup, usually around 60 to 70 watts. For example, if you're using it with a power station like the Jackery 1000 V2, the display might estimate a runtime of around 14 hours. But that number isn't completely accurate, and here's why. The power station calculates runtime as if the cooler was running non-stop the whole time, which it doesn't. What actually happens is the compressor runs continuously for the first 30 minutes until it reaches the temperature you've set. Once it's cold, it only kicks on for a few minutes every hour to maintain that temperature. That's why these coolers can last so much longer than what the power station initially shows. With my setup, using the cooler through the cigarette port and running it on Eco mode, I've managed to get up to 3 full days of use on a single charge, which is pretty amazing. Of course, if you're also powering other gear like phones, lights, or a camera, that'll bring it down to around 2 days. But if you upgrade to a larger power station, like the Jackery Explorer 2000, you can easily get 5 days or more of continuous use without recharging, which is really impressive for a setup this portable. Another thing I want to mention is the noise level. This cooler is actually very quiet, even when it's running on max mode. Now, in terms of how I actually use it, this cooler is super versatile. For example, when I go to the beach, I use it instead of buying ice, so I save money and don't have to deal with melted water. I also take it on all my camping setups to store food and drinks, and with this 37 quart size, it's perfect for about 2 people for up to 3 days of food. On longer road trips, I've even brought it with me to hotels. Just plug it into the wall, and it works like a mini fridge. For me, it's the perfect balance of size, power, and portability. That's exactly why this is the model I keep using the most. It just fits into every situation. Now, something really important I want to mention. Since this is an electric compressor cooler, it works just like a regular refrigerator. That means you shouldn't flip it upside down or lay it completely on its side, especially if there's water or condensation inside. For that reason, Euhomy included a drain plug on the bottom, so whenever you need to clean or empty it, you can just pull the plug and let the water drain out easily. If you're wondering about the dimensions, this cooler measures about 17.5 inches tall, 24 inches long, and roughly 15 inches wide, so it's compact enough to fit in most cars, RVs, or truck beds. but still offers plenty of storage space for a couple of days worth of food and drinks. I'll leave a link to this cooler down in the description in case you want to check it out. If you decide to buy through that link, I might earn a small commission at no extra cost to you, and that really helps support the channel. If you have any questions or if there's a specific test you'd like me to try with this cooler, let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to help. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more reviews and content like this.